This show is a part of the Bumblebee Network. You can find out more information about this show or the network at bumblebeenet.com. That is BUMBLEB net.com. The following is a Black Swamp Studios production. Welcome to show number 148 of the Your Wow Money podcast. I am your host, Joe, and with me is Deadgreed.
What's up? It's your man, Deadgreed, with a way better mic, by the way.
With a way better mic, by the way. Well, let's see. We got the hashtag YWMTCG contest going on, which, by the way, there's 2 weeks left, starting like right now. Right now, there's exactly 2 weeks left if you're listening live. And we were very news heavy there last week, but I think we can make up for it this week. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I think we can do that. So maybe we can get back into our normal progression here.
It's time for progressions.
Not like last week where we just went straight into news, but anyway, what did you do in Blizzard games this week, Deadgreed?
Well, like always, I crushed on Diablo. All
Yep.
the stuff is now done, so I'm just getting Paragon points. And then I figured out I needed more money because I don't have enough money, because next patch you're going to need a lot of money, gold, whatever. So, yeah, I've been doing that. Been farming more gold because I need more gold, so, you know.
Even though you got like millions and millions of gold.
I have a bunch. I think once the season ends and everything goes together, I'm going to have like, I don't know, a bunch, billions. But it's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough.
Just need more. Need more.
Yes.
What?
And then Blizzard gave me this little icon on my screen that was like, hey, turn one of your characters to like a level 100. And I was looking at my list of non-100 characters, which is rather small, and I was like, priest, shaman, priest, shaman, priest, shaman.
Flip a coin.
So I did the shaman.
Yep. It had to be tails.
And then I went to Tanan Jungle and figured out, hey, yeah, I didn't complete all the stupid zone questing, so I can't have my artillery barrage thingamajigger, which
oh no,
I was totally bummed out, so I just logged out.
But you did say that you got some gear for him, though.
Oh yeah, I killed a few rares, but I was just like, I was flying around like, really? I like that artillery shot thing. It's so cool. And then, really?
You got to do the quests.
What the whole
artillery
point?
shot's cool, though.
The whole point of boosting the stupid character was so I didn't have to do the dang quest again.
Just that one line. That's all you had to do. Just that one zone, and I forget where it's at. But yeah, the artillery. Oh crap! I'm now remembering where it's at, but I can't think of the name.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. So, I haven't been doing much. By the way, this is where I get to say, I did cancel the Bridge of Sports podcast. This is due to lack of interest. and just an insane schedule. So if the interest was up, I would have kept going with it, but just lack of interest, so I just said, the heck with it. I'm going to shut it down, but Bumblebee Net's still going to be up. What you just heard, still be the Bumblebee blah 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 stuff. So everything's going to remain the same. I'm not going to shift the live back over to yourwildmoney.com, even though that's still up and going. I was just going to slowly shift that back over, or shift that over to Bumblebee Net. But I think as far as what gaming goes, still doing the mission tables. Did the new Hearthstone stuff. Have you tried out the new adventure pack there, Deadgreed?
No.
No. You're missing out, man. I took my Frost Mage to the first wing and just tore stuff up.
Yeah,
And-
but here's the deal with that.
Okay.
If I buy that adventure pack or whatever it is and start playing Hearthstone, that's less demons I can kill in Sanctuary.
Okay. No, I can see your point. I see your point. Thing is, if I was in Diablo, that's less Hearthstone time for me. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's give and take.
I have World of Warcraft, which
Mhm.
okay. I have Diablo.
Mhm.
I have work.
Yeah.
There's not enough hours in the day.
I feel ya. I understand. I understand. But that's that. Well, what do you think? I canceled the Bridge of Sports podcast. There turned out not to be enough hours in the day. So, yeah, it's all right.
That's all right.
But that Hearthstone Adventure Explorers League, that's something to play. I cannot wait for Wing 2 that comes out next week.
Get your news from the land of Azeroth. Here, get your news.
So, Activision Blizzard came out with their third quarter third quarter report there 2 weeks ago. But with BlizzCon going on, we could not talk about this stuff because there was too much other stuff going on. But the big thing here is Activision Blizzard bought King Digital Entertainment for about $6.9 billion. $6 billion of it was what the King Digital was worth. The $0.9 billion was just more paying King Digital Entertainment. So really, was this a Blizzard move, or was this more an Activision move?
You know, several years ago they were talking about getting into the mobile space, and they were just saying, "Hey, when somebody figures it out, we'll just buy them," and that's what they did. They're trying to cover more genres. I think this was more of an Activision than a Blizzard. I mean, everybody, they got their little departments, you know, and this is just going to be another department, which is, hey, more money for them, cool.
Which is true. I mean, I can see that Activision getting into the mobile market here. I mean, you already have Hearthstone, so. And I think that's why, you know, some people wanted to see like pet battles going into the mobile market, out of World of Warcraft. I don't know. I think also that this was also kind of a tax thing. Because I think for Ireland, which is where King Digital Entertainment's based, deals can be made with the government to really knock down the tax rate. And that might have been something that Activision did.
I don't know, but $6 billion is a lot of dang dollars. I'm thinking about designing a mobile thingamajigger. I mean, I could have different colored dollar signs that you can match them up, and it would go boom or something, and then the money would fall in your bag. I've already got a basis. I mean, come on, that's worth $6 billion, ain't it?
Oh, what was that GE commercial? Where the GE guy was on one end of the picnic table, and on the other side of the picnic table was this guy that worked for an app about putting different type of hats on cats. Yikes! Now, when companies do this, they want to be able to make a profit. So this could be trying to make a digital app thing, which I think Activision can do now. Because if you look at like Supercell, which I do play a little bit, Clash of Clans, which I think what some people do, or Boom
Look,
Beach.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Blizzard, turn your volume up and listen. If you want to make all the money, this is how you do it. Are you ready? Get your pen and paper out, Blizzard. If you want to make all the money, this is how you do it.
Yep.
You now own King Digital Entertainment. Tell King Digital Entertainment to make a pet battle app for phones and iPads that works with the game. When you log in, you battle your pets from your iPad, your phone, and then when you log back into the game, it automatically updates and your stuff is whatever, and it's cross-platformed. Do it. You will make all the money. I will give you money. I don't even battle pet. I will give you my money for it.
That is not associated with Candy Crush Saga. Please.
Yeah. I understand that, but I'm saying, okay, they now have a company that does mobile gaming stuff. Everybody wants pet battles on mobile gaming. Mm-hmm. Just do it, man. What are you waiting for? Get them on it. Get on it. Get on the money. Really. Just do it, Blizzard.
Just get on it. Just get on
and
it.
I only need 1% for my idea.
Just 1%.
That's all I'm asking for. I'm not being greedy in this particular instance. Just 1%. It's a great idea. Come on, Blizzard, do it up.
So if you look at what all the money that Blizzard had brought in, and we'll see about Hearthstone in the fourth quarter report.
Oh yeah, Hearthstone, and that's another. Okay, this is another indicator.
Yes.
Right. Look how big Hearthstone is. It's a card game. Everybody loves pet battles, and if you put them on there like that, it
can be done. It can be done. And World of Warcraft only lost about 100,000. That's pretty good, actually. That's real good. But anyway...
Now it's time for the classroom. Advice on making gold via the auction house, professions, and more.
So, let's take this about point by point. So, JC Prospecting will be back?
Yes, get your picks ready, JCs. It's coming. Oh my God! Yeah. This is so. Hey, lay ore. You're gonna be able to lay some prospecting to the lay ore. I can't wait. The money's gonna be rolling.
Prospecting will be back. Does this mean, in your mind, that mining will be on the uptick in Legion?
Oh yeah, mining's gonna be a huge deal, especially with something I'll talk about when we get down there. Mining's gonna be a huge deal because all the JCs will be wanting to buy all the ore again, so they can prospect it and then make your rings and take your rings and make it into enchant materials and take your enchant materials and make that into enchants and put them on the auction house and make Joe buy all the green stuff and then give me all your money. I can't wait.
Now, I think mining's going to be on the uptick. Enchanting, I want to see more information out of enchanting before I say anything.
Well, that and all the gems that you're going to be able to get because
Yes.
Your JC's going to be able to put sockets on your stuff.
Yes. Jewel crafting is going to be huge because what the jewel crafters can make, say necklaces, rings, kind of the bling stuff.
Here's your ring, sir. Would you also like 100 crit with that?
Here's a socket. Now, are we going to see the colored sockets, or is it going to be the prismatic sockets?
I don't think they'll go back to colors because the prismatic just they're really good. They worked out really good.
Mm-hmm.
This expansion, you don't have to worry about I need a yellow or you just put what you want. And I didn't like
red.
I like the secondary stat gems way better anyway. Like the crit, the haste, and blah blah blah, and all that stuff. It makes more sense to me.
Because that's more of the higher DPS for you.
Well, no, I mean, okay, it's just a no-brainer. I'm a mage. I'm gonna need intellect, so just give me intellect gems. It just
Well, power.
I'm a frost mage, so give me mastery or arcane mastery. I'm a frost mage, so give me haste. I'm a fire mage, so give me crit. Whatever. And that's it plays more onto that class identification and making your class more cool.
That would be really the thing right there. So JCing, wow, jewel crafting. That's going to be a huge profession going into Legion right now.
Right after that panel, I logged into Warcraft, and my hunter was like dancing and doing backflips on the loading screen. Like, yeah, yes, I'm totally gonna get to rub my hands together and make Greed more money. Can't wait.
Would you see an influx of jewel crafters? Just like people just dropping.
Well, I mean, I don't know if a bunch of people drop their JC.
No, I'm not saying dropping JC. No, or have dropped their JC. We'll get into inscription later, but.
Well, I think it's the new hotness, and I think people drop their professions and pick up the new hotness all the time. I think people do that, especially now that there's no rating perk.
Right. That would be true. That would be true. So, okay, so if we're going to have the new hotness, which would be jewel crafting and mining, because a lot of people's going to mine now.
Yeah. There's one thing that kind of I'm a little upset about.
Okay. Which would be?
The whole mining and herb nodes are shared. What? Really? They guild warded us? Really?
Okay.
They're all shared.
So why are they all shared?
Well, if I can pick it, you can pick it. That takes all the fun out of flying around on my druid and swooping down right before you swing your pick and taking your stuff and bouncing. I love to do that.
Competition. That's what I was looking forward to. If you're going to take that away, all right, fine, I'll get my node, but what would happen here is that if there's not competition out in the field, the prices will go down, or they won't be as high as what they could be. So if there's competition out there,
this is a bad thing and a good thing, because, like you're saying, there won't be a bunch of competition, and then, what they did was they did the cross realm zones, and I never liked that because, that weird guy from Crush Blow would be over there in my server, messing with my herbs, and why is this dude from Crush Blow over here? I never liked that. So it's good that I just can go get mine, but it kind of takes that game away, because I used to love to just when I was on my druid before, flying around herbing and mining, I would fly so close to the ground that my feet would almost drag the ground on my druid, and I would just pop from node to node to node, and then people always fly way up in the air, then they go to there's one, and then they gotta fly down, and then by that time I'm already on top of it, so it's like I'm there picking it, and then they leave, and then I'm at the next one picking it, and then I leave, then they leave, and I'm at the next one, I'm at the next, then eventually they're like, what the, it's a fun game.
Well, to me, like I said, I want more competition. So, yeah, if there's a guy from another realm, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that does take away a little bit. But the reason why Blizzard did that was because the population was coming down. But this is kind of the backlash of that. When the population comes back up, and it will for Legion, I think that people from other realms coming in taking your node, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. One thing that I kind of wondered when they announced this, that the nodes were going to be shared. I don't know if you really know, but let's say I'm in Tanan Jungle, and I'm the only one there for some reason.
For some reason.
Just theoretically.
Right.
There's a certain spawn rate, so many nodes in the zone, and I'm flying around and picking them, and once you reach a certain number, and the nodes left in zone drop below where they're supposed to be, they repopulate. Mm-hmm. Well, let's say Joe shows up and starts farming. Well, now that's two people. Right. So that number adjusts itself, and the more people that come, the higher that spawn rate. So that way you don't feel like you're never seeing any. And I wonder, a lot of times, that causes a lot of server-side lag. So I wondered if they didn't just finally just say, okay, they're just shared, so we can have X amount of nodes in zone, and then we don't have to worry about, cut down on a lot of server-side lag, I think.
And that's possible, too. That's entirely possible, too. We'll see what happens when we get there. Hopefully we'll get the beta.
The one thing I am excited about, though, is the more you mine, the more you herb, the better your character becomes at it, and the more you'll be getting from it. So, at first, let's say you tap a lay ore, you get one. Eventually, you'll get enough, and then you'll be getting 2 or 3, which is cool. I like that.
Okay, let's get into that then. because there is a certain somebody that I thought I had here in the notes, but I don't think I do right now. But you have to learn that first. So when you see that mining NPC or that herbing NPC or that cloth NPC, you have to check with that person first. Then as we understand it, the way that it goes, the more you mine, the more you herb, whatever, the more mining nodes you'll get, or herbing nodes you will get. So
I kind of thought it was a quest, like you do a quest, you do a quest line or whatever, and then at the end they reward you this. Hey, now you're better. Now you're better at mining, and now when you mine, you're going to get three nodes instead of one. That's the way I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's the way it's going to be. It's going to be a quest line from this NPC or this quest giver, and when that happens, or after that quest line is over, then you'll be able to get more and more nodes. Now, in your mind, how long should this quest line take? Or how long do you think it's going to take?
Well, I mean, I hope they don't gate it to where, like, I can do one part and then next week I can do another part, and then, I hope they don't do that. I hope they just let me do it, and I hope it takes a couple of days or something,
What I'm thinking is it's going to be done as you level. So, say level 100 you start, 103, 104 you reach the next level. Say 106, 107, there'll be the next level, and then once you reach max level, there'll be the final level.
Something I just thought about? Have you ever been out to Tanan Jungle and got that buff, like that weekly, hey, I get more crystals?
I think I have a while ago.
You kill the 3 dudes and then you turn it in, and then every time you
get a
kill
buff.
more, the whatever the hell it's called. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
I wondered if it wasn't going to be like that. Like, you do a quest for this dude, and then you get like a weekly buff. I think that could be pretty cool.
That's possible. That I think is possible. I don't really know if that's going to happen or not. So
I just hope that they do it that way, that it's not like something really grindy. Like a little, hey, go kill this dude, or go pick 10 go pick 10 herbs, or go pick 10 ore and then bring them back, and then bam, and then you get the little buff. That would be cool. Something I wouldn't mind at all.
that would be possible, I think.
I'm just saying, I know that feature's really popular out there in Tanan, so, and they like to take some stuff that's popular and then mix it in with some new stuff.
Yep. So, we'll see what happens there. But, let's move on to the next thing. If you're only going to be on about once a week, and you want to do your professions, you're not going to really lose any time, if I'm reading that right. So if you log, the example that they gave, you log in on Sunday, you want to relax by doing professions, so we're going to change the recipe acquisition. So you're not really going to lose anything. What are your thoughts about taking your professions a little more casually?
Well, I think that the way they're tackling this is like, if Greed wants to get out there and just bust it all out at once and get it done, then he can. But if Joe just wants to, every now and then I'll log in Saturday, and I'm not gonna log in every day. I'm just gonna log in like Wednesday and Thursday, and then I might log in Saturday. It's both okay. You don't have to log in every day to get it done. And I think that's kind of like a little catch-up mechanic, which is cool because sometimes you get home, you're tired, you don't want to play. You don't want to have to go
Right.
do send some ships out and click on some buttons. You just want to like put on some Netflix and go to sleep. You don't want to mess around with your stuff. So I think that they finally figured out that people don't want to be wrangled into playing every single day. You know, if you want to play every day, that's cool. But you know, if you had a long day or something, then you don't have to get home and then, oh gosh, I forgot I gotta make more cloth and I have to get 100 ore and I have to open my boxes, and I think that they're getting away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they are. I mean, with all the boxes that we had, it was just too insane. We'll get into bag space here in a little bit, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I do like the fact that we can be more casual, though. We can take our time if we want to, but the serious gold makers, they're not going to do that. They're gonna haul.
Somebody like me who works a lot, I've always had to get home and then, rush, and I got to get it because I'm always behind, and then it's always a bad feeling to be behind, and you're always I got to hurry up, get it done. So this is cool. It'll help people like me out, and it's not hurting the people who rush and get it done either.
Everybody that's in the bumblebeenet.com/live, they can see the gray in my hair. We're getting older as gamers, and Blizzard knows that. So to make things more casual, such as professions, what they're going to do, such what they did with rating by inserting LFR, they really want to do this stuff. And such as what they're going to do with questing in whatever zone you want to quest in. And you can, and my understanding of it, Deadgreed, if you are like level 99 if you're level 109 and I'm level 100, we could be questing in the same zone, and the XP experience, you wouldn't take any XP away from me, nor would I be taking any XP away from you. So,
yeah, that's cool. I really like that because, again, I work a lot, and then I come home, and all my friends are leveled up, and I'm behind, and nobody wants to stop leveling up to come back and help Greed. Nobody wants to do that, and so I, if I get home and my buddies are 104 or something, and I get on, and I'm like, I get in Mumble, and I'm like, oh, hey, you guys, we can all just team up and do our thing, and we're not punishing anybody.
Right.
I like it.
And I'm looking forward to that. I want to see what happens, really, because I know that there's going to be people that'll be level ahead of me, because they'll be, say, coming home, or they would be home from work, and I'd be just coming home saying, all right, I just got the damn Legion loaded. It's time to go. It's time to play. And see some level 105s, 106s all in the same zone. That would be cool. And teaming up with them be even cooler. But,
something I like is they're talking about, you're not just going to go to a trainer and click on him 24 times and then have all your stuff and be like, oh, I'm going to start making this, and these are the stuff I need to gather these materials and make these stuffs.
This is what I was about to go to.
I really like this, because what that means is I get a recipe and I can start making stuff, and maybe not everybody on my server has that, so I can post it in the auction house and make money
right away.
And people are going to say, oh man, I can't make that. I'll buy that from this guy. That's That's awesome.
right away. Okay, here's what we're saying. Now, that once again, they gave an example. Tailor starts quest in Dalaran. Trainer asks you to go find cloth. It falls. Find a new person to help you make it work. Or sorry, it fails. Rest of the quest line deals with learning stuff from a Nightborn who also learns from you about Dalaran. So now you won't really need a trainer to go learn your professions. So what's going to happen with trainers? Are they going to stick to the old world, or are they just going to be just another worker in the major cities? What do you think?
I mean, all the old stuff, they're going to be, same as they've always been, but the newer stuff is they're just not necessary now. You can just go out in the world and get your stuff, which I like way better. And as far as that, they could just be walking around the city selling pennants or making this or that. That's cool.
Yeah, I would agree. And the fact that you're going to be out there in the world, even though you're going to learn from another person, I think that's going to be a good thing too. Just learning professions by doing quests. I do sense a possibility of quest burnout. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But really, could this be dailies, or could this turn into type of a daily situation for quests?
Well, I mean, as far as the dailies, the problem with the dailies was, like, if I didn't do all my dailies, then I couldn't get enough rep in order to buy the gear I needed. But this is like, okay, maybe I don't want to be a tailor, and I'm a cloth guy, I'm a mage, so, I didn't want to do, or maybe I am a tailor and I didn't want to do all this. I don't want to go out there every day and click on this stuff and kill stuff and help this Nightborn guy do that. I don't want to do that, so I just go to the auction house and buy it from somebody who did do it, which excites me because I'm the guy that will do that stuff. I'm the guy that will post that stuff on the auction house for all the people who don't want to go out there and do this stuff, so that way, it makes my goods more valuable. I like that a lot, because I'm not, the problem with professions is everybody has the same stuff. I mean, it's like if you went down the street and there was 10 Taco Bells. Well, which one you gonna stop at?
To your point, and what we said earlier, JC is going to be the hot one. Okay, so everybody that's going to be a JC is going to be a JC. A jewel crafter. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay as a blacksmith. If you're going to leave blacksmithing, guess what? That's more money in my pocket. Thank you. Thank you. So, let all the people go over to jewel crafting. Let them go.
I wanted to talk about blacksmithing just for a second.
Okay.
Because there's something that's really that I'm highly interested in when we start talking about blacksmithing. What the hell are you gonna make? I don't know what you're gonna make. Not a single person's gonna need a weapon. So,
well, okay, that's the thing. The playing field, to me, in my mind, along all the professions, is now leveled. At least for leatherworkers, tailors, and blacksmiths. Because tailors couldn't make a weapon. Leatherworkers couldn't make a weapon. And yet blacksmiths could. Yes, that is kind of the advantage now taken away. I get that. I'm just saying, if everybody's going to jump from a profession to another, I'm going to stick with mine because people, and to that point, because blacksmiths cannot make weapons, some people could jump from blacksmithing. I'm going to stay where I'm at.
You know, since we're updating all the profession stuff, this expansion, several years ago, there was a really long post on. It wasn't Reddit at the time because we didn't have Reddit. It was
right.
a forum, something like Reddit, but I don't remember what it was. But anyway, there was a bunch of ideas put out by like the community, and Blizzard just was like, "Right, we're not doing it." And a lot of the ideas were like, you know, you could get like if you were an engineer, you could make or if you were an alchemist, you could make a potion that you could like feed to your mount, and your mount would run faster for like 15 seconds.
Right.
And there was a long list of stuff like that. And you know, if you were an engineer, you could get you could make boosters for your mount, and your mount would fly faster. And it wasn't all mount related. That's just a couple I was thinking of. There was some other stuff too, where you could make your boots fly where you didn't have to have a mount.
Right.
And just some other stuff. Now, well, that's subscription, and I won't go into that. We'll do that in a minute. But there was just a bunch of other like really, really cool stuff, and I kind of hope that Blizzard goes into some of that stuff, because I would like some more consumables that I could sell, other than, hey, you got 20 more intellect for an hour. I mean,
yay!
Okay, look, if every single person on the planet drinks an intellect potion or a flask or, you know, whatever, an intellect or strength or dexterity or whatever you're drinking, then why are we still drinking those? Because it turns out to not matter anymore. I like these. I would like to have some kind of, you know, just a fun. Doesn't necessarily have to be epically powerful. Just something fun, like, you know, like I was saying before, where you could just feed your mount and then your mount runs faster for a minute or something, and or maybe it makes your some kind of rubbing oil you could rub on your mining pick, and then you get more ore for a minute. I mean, why not something like that? I mean, they kind of did some stuff like that with fishing, which I thought was cool this last expansion, because you could get a bait and then you could get more the certain type of fish you liked. I like that a lot. Why can't they do that with the other professions?
Well, they might not be able to do certain things with certain professions. So, all right, let's not get to that yet.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting off. You know me.
I know. I know. But I do want to get on to. You can find 2 and 3 star recipes. Will this be increasing the item level, kind of like what we saw the Warlord's unique stuff that we made in Warlords of Draenor?
Yeah, I think so, because what they were saying was if you had a 1-star recipe and I had a 2-star or a 3-star recipe, then when I made it, what they were saying was when I made it took less mats. Like, we're making the same item. Like, we're both going to make a hat, and it's going to cost you 75 cloth, but it only cost me 50 because I got a 2-star recipe. And then when I make it, my stats are a little better. You know, I get 10 more intellect and 3 more haste than you did, which is oh my god, awesome, because when you put that stuff in the auction house, guess what's going to happen? My stuff's going to be worth a lot more, and trust me,
yes.
For those things that you can make that's a 2 or 3 star recipe, those seem to be, or they talked about it like it was going to be more rare. So if you manage to get one of these recipes, you're going to be able to freaking print money, basically.
Yeah, basically. Because with the greater stats, with the more stars to that recipe, the more money you're going to make. Now, how much more, we don't know yet. I mean, the only way that we're going to know is if we get into... Beta's going to give us some sort of clue. And I think a better clue than what has other betas been. But
I hope so, because I don't get a lot of... And maybe it's just me in the past. I've done a lot of betas, and I never get a lot of profession things out of the beta.
That's very true. And they're also going to put up a new profession trade skill UI. So, this is a pretty old UI. This system needed to be revamped. What would you like to see in the new professions trade skill UI?
Well, I know that what they are doing is you can favorite recipes. Like, let's say I'm an alchemist and I like to make those intellect flasks, so I can favor that, and it'll go right to the top of the list. They're supposed to be really easy, a lot more easily negotiable, because a lot of times it's like, okay, I want to make this flask, but I need a different flask to make that flask, so what is that flask material? And then you're jumping back and forth trying to figure out what you need to collect. I hope that you can bring those, up, and you can see, what you need to make everything in the end state, if you understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's something I hope that you can really do, is I hope you can highlight or mark recipes, because a lot of times I'm flipping through there and I'm kind of trying to go fast, and a lot of times I'm like, oh shoot, what was I gonna make? Oh dang. Or a lot of times I write it down on a notebook, and then I'm flipping through a notebook trying to figure out what it was that I was gonna make. So I hope that you could. That would be for me. That would be awesome. Like if you could just highlight, like permanently, like favor or highlight, whatever you want to call it. If you could just highlight recipes and say these are the things I like to make, and it would be awesome. Although I didn't hear anything about it, but it would be awesome. Like if you could highlight in different colors, like I highlight this recipe blue, and then all these things down here highlighted in blue, or what's need to make the blue thing, and then highlight this one in yellow. That would be for me. That's what I would like to see. I don't think that they'll do it that way though.
They actually could, because look at what you're going to do with the weapons that you're going to get. You can change colors.
That's where this came. That's why I was, when they were talking about that you could change your color. That's what I was thinking about. Man, they could just freaking go crazy with that. The UI team could just go crazy with that art,
Yes, they could. Yes, they could. And the technology is there for them to do that, I think. So, we'll see what happens here. Now, okay. Major glyphs will be gone. What are your thoughts on what could happen to the inscription UI?
I don't know what they're gonna do. This is I really like glyphs. I've never hated glyphs. I guess they're just trying to get rid of them. I don't.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I think that once they like, I think Wrath is when they came out with the glyphs, and then I think Cataclysm. By Cataclysm, I think they were trying to take them away, but they've tried it every expansion, and it's always then what are you gonna, it's always a bunch of uproar, and then what are you gonna do with Inscriptionists? And hey, I leveled an Inscription, and I know that they said you can still make all the Dark Moon cards, and
yes,
and they
the
said
minor
that
glyphs.
they are gonna do something awesome for Inscriptionists, and the one thing that they did say that they were going to do, I can't wait. And I don't have an inscription guy right now because I dropped my inscriptionist because of warlords. So I might have to level another
You might have
inscription.
to. What did they say about inscription?
Okay, look, me, I'm on a raid team, and sometimes, we're fighting Mr. Plaque. And Mr. Plaque's kicking our butt, and we just can't get over it. And all our buddies, everybody I know is beating him, and everybody I know is saying, "Why can't y'all beat Mr. Plaque? Mr. Plaque's pretty easy." And we're like, "Well, we keep going in there and we're dying." And then, so what you could do is just have an inscriptionist make you a bunch of, hey, you get 10% more power, and then you go in there. You get 10% more power against Mr. Plaque, and you beat Mr. Plaque, and then you move on.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you could. They were saying you can only use one of those a week, but that's going to be huge because think about it, man. When the raid tier drops, oh my god, that's just going to be insane. You could just make. More power for the first boss, more power for the second boss, more defense for the third boss, or whatever, and put them all in the auction house and watch them freaking fly off the shelf. Because there's so many raid teams, and different raid teams get stuck on different bosses because of comp or whatever, because of comp or mechanics or this or that, and those are going to be like little pushes that people are going to definitely want. And when people get stuck on a boss, they'll leave the raid, go to the auction house, and buy your whatever the hell they're called, extra powers or whichever. So I think that's going to be a huge money maker. That's going to be up there with JC, I think.
Minor glyphs are consumable, applied directly to the spell.
Yeah.
And you can buy a lot of those minor glyphs. That's going to be really, really interesting, I think.
I think they were saying you're not going to be locked to 3 anymore. You could just apply them to, like, hey, I want polymorph cat, and I want slow fall, makes you spin around, and or what, I don't know, whatever. I'm just making these up, people. Or I can turn you into a sheep, or whatever your minor glyphs are. I think you could just tag them all, and then if you want, which is pretty cool. That's a good boost for Inscriptionists.
That could really keep inscriptions going, I think. Now, I also had a thought on the Dark Moon cards too. Could you actually see them, the Dark Moon cards, level up, being Inscriptionists?
That would be nice. I think a problem with that is, raid tier trinkets are always so good. So, you utilize your Dark Moon card trinket in order to get into raid, and then once you get your raid tier, I don't know, they would just have to make them super awesome, but then that would just negate all raid tier trinkets. So, it's a problem. I don't know how to solve it.
Well,
I mean,
it might not negate all the raid tier, actually anything raid tier, because Blizzard wants to make raid tier the top gear. Okay, so basically what I'm thinking is maybe to get the Dark Moon cards to get people into raid, that might be the way to go. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
an idea I had with that a long time ago, and by all means, this ain't nothing that I heard about that they're going to do, or just an idea that I really thought that would be awesome with those Dark Moon Fair trinkets to keep them relevant is, what if they weren't rating trinkets? What if they were like, hey, you get more mining herbs, or you make your recipes more stronger when you're wearing this. Like, if I go to, like, let's say I'm wearing a Dark Moon Fair trinket and I make a hat. Well, instead of the hat having 100 intellect, it has 110 intellect because I was wearing the hat when I made.
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing the trinket when I made the hat, and then even if I take the trinket off, the hat still has the power. Like you could boost you could use it as like a farming booster or a crafting booster. That would make that super. And then every time they come out with a new raid tier, then you could come out with a new card or a new level up mechanic that the Inscriptionists could sell to people who have the card, so that they could increase their power to make the hat that I made now have 120 strength instead of 110.
That would be really the idea, I think.
I mean, not that Blizzard said that they're going to do that. Not that I've heard. That's just an idea from Greed.
Right.
Metzing, you're totally cool with taking that and just putting it in the game. I give you my express verbal consent. You can totally have that idea.
You can have that in the game, please. Please. Okay, so there's one thing for alchemists. The Ventus Rune. That is a week-long buff against a particular boss. Only 1 week per boss. What do you think about having a rune to be a buff against a particular boss for a week?
That's cool. I think that was more of was that more of the outdoor world, like the world bosses? Is kind of the way I thought.
It's possible. This might be more of an example, I think, where you could actually see more runes or different runes going to different bosses, whether it be world bosses or raid bosses. So this might be like an entryway.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Again, I like that. That's a great idea. Yes, please.
More gold, please. Because if Vantage runes can be made, they can be sold on the auction house.
Yeah, that's kind of like that inscription thing, too. Yep. I like it. Yes, more, please.
That's what we want. That's what we want. Now we're going to get into what's going to happen with transmogs. But to open this up, Alessander sent us an email a couple weeks ago. We got a little busy last week with BlizzCon. But I'm going to read this from her. This is, once again, from Alessander. I am hopeful that soon my bank will be empty with the new gear tab. But there's a lot of gear out there. I have a feeling it will be limited to just tier sets, or other sets and costume gear sets, not greens, grays, and whites, maybe even not blues. And what of trinkets that proc a cool effect, or items that have the same look? Include all of them too? The thing that most needs fixed in Legion, I think, besides all gnome faces looking grumpy now, is the auction house interface. I am not expecting to hear anything about this at BlizzCon, but it has needed features for years. By this time next week, I'll be glued into the virtual ticket. Chris Metzen is running through my head on a daily basis, demanding where his gnome, where is his gnomes at. So close now, so happy. From Alessander. So the first part deals more with what we're going to talk about next, and that is the transmog system. So, what's going to happen with transmogs, Deadgreed?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Finally! I want to send an internet high five to everybody on the World of Warcraft team at Blizzard. Seriously, internet high. Like, oh my God. Yes. Look, I love Diablo 3, as everybody knows. And one of the best things about Diablo 3 is every piece of gear you ever get is bam, transmoggable, and you just transmog it into you make your character look like whatever you have had.
Exactly.
Which is awesome. Now, when I was watching the virtual ticket, they were explaining it, and they were going it's going to work for tabards, it's going to work for all this stuff, shirts, everything, and they were saying, well, the game's kind of old, so what's going to happen?
Right.
With all that stuff that you could have transmogged, but you can't go back. You can't go back and do those quests again.
Nope.
So, now what? Well, guess what? They're going to go in your history and they're going to pick every single quest that you've ever done and they're going to put it in your closet. They're even going to take stuff that you didn't even pick, that you may have picked, but didn't. Every quest you've ever done. Oh my God, that is so awesome.
So even if you had like the higher gear level in Wrath, say you had a higher gear level glove or handpiece, you will be able to get that lower level gear piece in your closet. That's going to be cool.
Look, if you did a quest in 2004 and you were like, man, do I want these shoulders or do I want these gloves? And you were like, I'll take the gloves, and then you wore the gloves until you were level 21, and then you sold the gloves and you buy a new pair of gloves. Guess what? You can wear those gloves and you can wear them shoulder pieces too. Because oh my God, that's so awesome! I can't wait. This is.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I don't know if everybody here's played Diablo, but in Diablo, what we do is when we get something that somebody, like if my buddy picks up a piece of gear and I don't have it for a transmog, he'll throw it on the ground. I'll pick it up, learn the transmog, throw it back on the ground. He'll pick it up and sell it or do whatever he does with it. We share our transmogs. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but this is going to be a huge improvement. Now, back, 2 expansions ago, they were like, okay, the transmog, it's a problem. You don't have enough room, so they gave us void storage. What are you going to put in your void storage? I have no idea what I'm going to put in my void storage.
See, I think they need to open up void storage now to be some other type of thing, because they kind of saw that with all the all the garrisons, all the crates. Yeah, so there was a lot of transmog stuff within the crates, a lot of disenchantable stuff going on with the crates there too. But I think with the void storage, one of two things needs to happen. Either they open it up to have your reagents or whatever stuff you're carrying around, or you need to shut it down.
I honestly don't think void storage. You put this in the system, this new transmog, and I honestly don't think there's a use for void storage. I just don't see it, because who's going to run all the way over there just to put 10 more Peace Bloom in their void storage? I don't see, unless I have an idea. I just got an idea. Hold on, this is breaking news. This just in.
This just in. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
That's awesome. Now, I played Diablo 3.
Yes.
And one thing I love about Diablo 3 is I can take an item that I'm wearing and I can put it in my stash. I can log on to another character and take that item and put it on my character.
Yes.
So, what if they did void storage? What if they used void storage like that? Like, let's say I had a soulbound staff. Well, okay, you won't have a bad example.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm so used, right? Okay, what if you had a soulbound hat
Okay.
and you were on your mage and you put it in your void storage and you got on your priest and you took that hat and put it on your priest and it worked?
So an account-wide void storage.
Yeah, I think that's really the only. I mean, I don't know of any other thing that I can't think of any. And hey, you know what? If you're out there, you're a listener or viewer, and you're out there and you have an idea, shoot send us an email, because sometimes, the community has an awesome idea that I just haven't thought of. So if you got some kind of idea that Blizzard could do, they listen to a lot of stuff. I'm not saying they listen to me, but sometimes the community has an idea and then Blizzard goes, dang, yeah, that's awesome. And, so if you have an idea of what they can do with void storage, to shoot us an email or shoot us a tweet or something.
Okay, some of the key features here about the transmog system. It is account-wide. Account-wide. So you can you can have some different sets. I think you can also save those sets. So if you have a certain transmog for PvP, if you have a certain transmog for certain bosses, a certain transmog for questing, you'll be able to use that set. Now, of course, I would think that once again you're going to be spending some gold, but I think it's going to be well worth it. Oh, and by the way, there are 3 new transmoggable slots: weapon enchants, shirts, and tabards. I bet you like those there, Deadgreed.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's just, I especially like the fact that you can save it, because like if you go to town, you can have your town set. I like to have all my stuff matching. Like I have the rune saber. I call that my arcane cat, because I'm an arcane mage and I have a whole arcane set.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'm not riding the arcane cat. Sometimes I'm riding something else. It's maybe I don't want to look like an arcane mage. Then maybe I want to look like a fire mage, or maybe I want to be decked out in green or something, because I've got a green mount and a green pet out. So you can have all these sets. I like that you can save them. That's really, really cool.
That is pretty cool. Now, I do want to hit on a couple more things there before we go. Alice Under said, the auction house interface getting pretty old. Actually, it's been pretty old.
Hold on one second. When's the last time you actually used
the actual interface?
I mean, think back. Think way, way back. When was the last time you used the auction house?
Probably way back when I first, I'll say it was within about the first year that I used World of Warcraft, because then it was the auction, not auctionator, no, it was auctioneer. That's when I started using auctioneer. So, yeah, it's way back when. Way back when. But what would, if they did a whole new UI for the auction house, what would you like to see in it?
way better search features. I dislike the fact that you can't, like, let's say you're looking for a glyph of spell steal. I don't even. Is there one? I don't even know. Anyway, let's just pretend that there's a glyph of spell
Yeah.
steal. You actually have to type out the whole. Good. I hate that. Really, I can't just put like glyph of spell and then. You know what I mean? Like I hate that. Or, you know, if you're looking for something, you can't. You have to write the whole word. You can't just put like, you know, UNL and then. I hate that. I wish that they would have better search features.
What I would want to see, and search features is greatly needed. What I want to see is, let's say, if I want to sell a certain breastplate, I want to see who else is selling that breastplate and for what cost. I can do that with Auctionator, kind of, sort of. I can go to the Undermine Journal and take a look there, but not with the WoW UI. Well, actually, I can there with the WoW UI, but not the way that I want it to. So maybe something that is more cleaned up.
You know, something I would like let's say that I made a hat and I want to sell it. I would like to be able to click on that hat and then bring up all the hats in the auction house that are around that same quality. You know, like maybe an 810 quality hat, and then I can look at all the hats and maybe not exactly the same hat, because like right now, you know, if you're looking up a shirt, you can only search the purple shirt. You know, without having to search a bunch of different ones. Maybe you could just say level 70 shirts, and then they just bring them all up, or, you know, 810 item level hats, and then they just bring them all up. You know what I mean? I guess that goes back to better search features. I don't know. Anyway.
The add-on you're looking for is the Undermine Journal.
Oh, I know. I use the Undermine. I use that, but I'm just saying.
But you want to see that on the actual tooltip, or at least see what.
Well, I would like to be able to click it. I would like to be able to just click and drag, just click drag to the UI, and then it would say, okay, these are all the. That's an 810 hat, and it's got strength and you know, these are all the hats, and this is what they're selling for, and then I can say. Oh, well, I'll sell that for 110 gold, because that's a good price.
You know, I just had a thought. With all the recipe tiers and all the greater stats that's going to come out there with Legion, these add-ons are going to have to do some serious updating now.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to... They'll have to wait for the names, but they're going to have to get within their individual UIs and say, okay, we're going to have to set up this, and this just for one piece of gear. That's something that they're going to have to get ready for. One more thing that just say I had a comment up on YouTube. Okay. This coming from Doug Hammonds. Hello, big fan of your podcast. I was curious if there was a place to submit questions that if you deem worthy to be answered during the podcast. I'd say email works. My question that I have been trying to Google for the past hour, but unable to find a solid answer on is, do you receive less loot from mass looting than you do from killing/looting a mob at a time? I ask this because I recently have been doing a lot of AQ runs for transmog gear. And in doing so, I've noticed when I kill the little worms that I have a larger percentage to drop a noteworthy gear if I kill them one by one and loot before killing the next. I tend to get more gear. However, I'm not sure if this was just an RNG based or if that was intended method for mass looting. Thanks for the hours of entertainment and keep up the great work.
Look, I got your answer.
Okay.
This is an easy one, sir.
Okay.
Okay. When you kill a mob, loot falls on the ground. You get the little sparkly thing, right?
Right.
Let's say you kill 50 mobs. Now you got 50 sprinkles all over the ground.
Right.
Okay? It literally, the only thing that this feature did, the AoE looting, was you click and it loots everything into your bag. This doesn't improve like how much stuff you're getting. That was just straight up RNG that you were, because sometimes, and I don't know if you've ever done this, it happens to me quite often. Sometimes I'll kill a bunch of stuff and I'll loot, and then I'll still have some sparklies way over there, but it was because I was out of range and I couldn't pick it up, so then I got to run over there and pick that up too. But it literally doesn't matter how you pick the loot up. It's the same amount of loot on the ground, no matter if you kill one mob at a time or you kill 10 mobs at a time. Or if you're looting one item at a time or looting 10 items at a time. It's the same amount of loot.
So basically it's just an RNG problem that you're encountering.
Yeah, they updated that. I want to say they updated that during Cataclysm, I believe. That was a Cataclysm update. Am I wrong?
Possible. There's been a lot of fixes.
Man, I literally did backflips when they finally updated that. I don't know if you played long enough to have had to have picked every single piece of gear up off the ground that looted, but oh my God, rejoice about the AoE looting and
yay! Yeah, that's really the big thing here. All right, we're running out of time, sir.
But hey, thanks for the question. Keep them coming.
Yep, indeed.
I like it.
Indeed, indeed. Keep the questions coming. Like I said, 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks left for the hashtag YWMTCG contest.
Hashtag Greed wins.
I don't think so. Which means you'll be getting this guy, the Spectral Kitten, if you win, or your choice if you win, the Feldrake. So we shall see. By the way, I did mail the Feldrake to another character just to make sure that's not a copy or something nefarious. So it is nothing nefarious. I was able to mail it from one character to another. It's just not an account-wide thing, so sorry I could not get it to like an Airy Peak server or anything like that. So there will be a way to get that one. Just the winner we'll just have to talk with the winner just to get that Drake. But anyway, if you want one of these two, winner gets choice, get on Twitter, use the hashtag YWMTCG.
All right, people, it's time to end the podcast now. So, how can the players get a hold of you?
2 weeks to go.
Yeah. I'm excited already.
Go for it.
Oh, I was just saying I'm excited already about the 150.
Oh yeah, I know.
My bad.
Go. Start us out, man.
Oh, you can find us on Twitter or at Your Wow Money, Facebook at Your Wow Money Cast.
Oh, you're not scrolled down that far.
Oh, I'm far. Oh, hold on.
Hold on.
Fast yet.
He's way up there.
All right, I was on the wrong section of show notes. My bad.
It happens. Start from the top.
You can find the show live at 3 p.m. on Channel 2 and tune in alphageekradio.com or on the TuneIn app.
You can also find us live on bumblebeenet.com/live at 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays.
If you don't want to listen to us live because we're way too awesome to be live, you can listen to us on Stitcher, iTunes, or where other podcast apps are found.
And if you're on the site, you can use the speak pipe on the bottom of the page. Or I think it's on the Contact Us page. But anyway, you can find us on Twitter at YourWowMoney, Facebook at YourWowMoneyCast, and at linkedin.com/in/YourWowMoney.
You can find Lady Hava on Twitch at twitchtv.ladyhava or Lady
yep.
at Lady Hava on Twitter, I guess. That's Twitter, right? I
Yep.
don't know, anyway.
Yep, and Lady Hava at YourWowMoney.com.
That one.
Yeah, that one. You can find Reckles at youtube.com/WTB GoldWow. And you can find him on Twitter at Ryan A. Eccles. He'll be back here soon.
Hey, you can find the glorious Deadgreed at Twitter at Deadgreed1812. And don't worry about I don't even stream. I haven't streamed in so long. Don't worry about it.
Forget the Twitch stuff. You can find me on youtube.com/Joe Brums, at Joe Brums on Twitter, Joe at YourWowMoney.com. You can also follow the network on Twitter at BumblebeeNet. And you can support us on patreon.com/BBNet. That's another show in the books. So go get your gold on, people. We'll see you next week.
Professions on.
Exactly. Go get your professions on. We'll see you guys next week. So am I. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast recorded before a live internet audience.
Yay.
To learn how to listen and watch live, visit tunein.alphageekradio.com.